It looks like Jonathan Majors has finally responded to all the criticism surrounding his latest photo shoot with Ebony. Some thought his style choice was fitting for an artist, while others thought the pictures were not the representation of masculinity. Majors was interviewed on the red carpet of the newest movie and was asked to give his reaction when the pictures hit the internet. His response: "It's always good to make a ruckus when it's positive." Today we have our comedy hype analyst Danielle Miller Capone and Pierre calling to the show, along with a very special guest, comedian Samson, to talk about the ruckus Majors has caused. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
So what was your reaction when you saw the photo hit the internet?
I was actually in a photo shoot.
Oh, wow.
When my phone started talking, and I went, it's cool. So I'm like, let me check. I look and I go, oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh yes. It's always good to make a ruckus.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When it's a positive ruckus, make the positive ruckus.
Now, we touched on this a little bit, and Pierre, we actually took the time to read your caption, but I'm interested to know, I want to get your initial reaction to the photo, the ruckus it has caused, and also, now that we're hearing from Jonathan Majors, what's your reaction? So all that, Pierre, I'll give it to you.
All right, well, cool. I'm in LA. You know, some people thought I was running from the subject yesterday. You ought to be at your mind. I love coming on comedy. I hate when I have to miss a day. All right, so I said what I said, and I'm gonna stand on it with 10 toes. You know, people complaining about the cover, like they're tired of seeing that, black men being emasculated on covers. Let me tell you, Ebony magazine, first of all, normally just shows women, but they've had people recently like Chadwick Boseman. They had her and her father, Muhammad Ali, Martin Lawrence, Denzel Washington, Nas, Amari Shumper. So let's not act like it's only a gay magazine, always going to show men in the light like that. I just named a whole bunch of people who they didn't show in the light like that. So kill it with they always showing us in a bad light on magazine like Ebony. Kill it. Let me tell some of these people out here, if you want to call it the homosexual community or the men, black men who are homosexual, whoever you want to call it, gay, whatever you want to call it, they're not going anywhere. I want you to understand that you're stressing yourself out by thinking they're going somewhere. No different than when white folks told black people to go back to Africa. We ain't going to Africa. We're not doing it. We're here now, and we're here to stay. So they're here to stay. So you can fight and argue all amongst these comments and all you want. They're not going nowhere. Flamboyant men or dressing flamboyant is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. So fight it all you want. If you want to, it's your energy. Okay? I'm not going to put too much energy. Like I said, he's an artist. Artists can do what they want. Like y'all talked about Prince. You know, some people give Prince a pass because you like his music. Call him an artist. Well, this dude's an artist. He's a film artist, so we don't give him a pass. All right.
Absolutely. Danielle, let me bring you in because we haven't heard from you this week either. Again, what's your reaction to Jonathan Majors now responding to all of this outrage?
First of all, I ain't gonna lie. I don't even understand what's the outrage. When I saw the picture, I was like, oh, this is a nice body. And then I continued scrolling. I didn't really analyze the picture to see the pouting of the lips and analyze the way he was dressed. I literally just looked at the body and said, this is a nice body. And this is the guy from Creed. And I scrolled past the picture. So I don't even know what the outrage is about. And then his response, I think what he said is correct. It isn't like he's in the media for doing something so heinous. He's in the media for a picture, which is a good thing, right? Because it adds to the publicity of the film that is about to come out and also pushing his name out there as well. So I mean, I don't get the outrage, and I think his response was a good response to it.
Now, Capone, I know we were able to dive into this yesterday, but now we're hearing from Jonathan Majors since all the craziness. I'm interested to know, what's your thoughts to his reaction?
As I said yesterday, he knew what he was doing. They know what they was doing. Publicity. They got us talking about it. It is a major film. And so, I wouldn't dress like that, but to each his own. And I think that the publicity is working because everybody's talking about it. And it wasn't even a video. It was a snapshot, a film, a pictures. So he feels comfortable with it. What can you really say about it? As Pierre said, they're definitely not going anywhere.
Absolutely. Now, Samson, I want to thank you again for joining us. It is such a pleasure to have you. I love you. Love being able to hear your perspective on things. So I'd love to get your thoughts on this. What's your perspective from all this outrage and just the reactions that we're getting from, as Capone mentioned, a photo, a snapshot that was released on Ebony magazine?
Oh, it's so layered, but I have to agree with what Pierre said, and it's great to hear heterosexual Black men say that. The gay community isn't going anywhere. I've been gay all my life. I enjoy being gay, even though you got to whoop some ass sometimes. And, there are a lot of conversations that we have to have around sexuality. But this situation, I don't even think is that serious. I think it's just outrage. I don't even think people are outraged for real. I think a lot of people are outraged because everybody else is outraged. People are followers.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask you something, because a lot of people are throwing this Black masculinity, and based on, we've seen multiple people. This isn't the first time we've seen someone dressed like this, and there's been this big outrage, right? So I'm interested to know, do you think Black masculinity is based on the appearance of clothes or what you're wearing? Do you think that that's what it's based on?
In our community, I think that because, we have faced a lot of oppression as Black people, I think the standard for how our men has to show up is a whole lot higher, is what I think that it is. I think our men face so many different challenges around providing for themselves, providing for their families, the challenges that they have to face in society, that we don't get a pass anywhere else. So whereas, for instance, we hear a lot of white women talk about how easy it is for them to allow their men to explore even their sexuality. Oh, my husband lets me, graze his nipples with sweet potatoes or something like that, Black men, we don't get a pass. You got to be a man. You can't show no emotions. You got to dominate in the bedroom. You can't wear bright colors. And so that creates a lot of friction when it comes to how our men express ourselves. And that even is with gay men. Even as gay men, we judge ourselves harshly on how we present our masculinity. So I think it's a very, very layered conversation, especially in the Black community.
Absolutely. Now I want to ask you this, Samson, as a Black gay man in this time, do you feel the pressure to dress a certain way because of your sexuality, because of the things that that you mentioned that our community faces and that we constantly go through, especially you as a Black man?
I think if I cared what people think, I would care about,
Okay.
what I wear. Now I've never been one to go down the street with booty shorts on. I think that's just inappropriate. But I really don't care how people think about how it is that I express myself. At the end of the day, I think if you are truly comfortable and you respect yourself, and you respect other people, I think they will respect you. And so I've never had an issue as an adult being a gay person, because, I respect other men. I respect women. I care about how I present myself in society, but I'm still authentically myself. But I think it's a fine line. But if I want to wear a pink shirt, I'm gonna wear a pink shirt. And anybody who's hypercritical of anybody else, it says more about them than it does about me. Because if you are a straight man, why are you paying so much attention to me? I would get all the ladies if I was straight. I done freed up the game for you. Leave me alone. Focus on what matters to you.
That needs to be on the shirt. I done freed up the game for you. Leave me alone.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah, go ahead, Capone.
All right. I just want to ask this. So is there, I understand there's different genders of lesbian, gays, but what I want to know is, just because you sleep with a man or your sexual preference, what is the thing with some gay people that feel like the feminine has to be overboard? The extra hello, excuse me, and all of that. Why does that come with the expression of just because you gay? What is that about? Can you answer that? Because there are guys who are gay that just straight men, and they act like men, and there's no women or tendencies in there. Is there a difference in that situation, if I might ask?
I'll let him answer, but I'm gonna answer it for you too, Capone. But go ahead,
Okay.
Samson.
Okay, so with that, I think many people can be extra. I think there are things that straight men do that are extra, but they don't get judged for it because they're straight. So as a gay man, I can say, yes, there are some gay people who do too much. Even for us gay people, we'd be like, you're doing too much, but I do think that our men get judged a lot more harshly for it because they are gay, and men are even uncomfortable with femininity. And that doesn't matter where it's coming from. That doesn't matter whether it's coming from a woman or a man, but this is escalated because it's coming from a man. And I think that some of the behavior, I will say this because I look at it from both sides.
Right.
I will say that some of the behavior is overboard, and I think that's rooted more in an insecurity than anything else. Because a lot of Black gay folks, we don't get the I'm going to think of the right word. We don't get the luxury of coming from homes many times that affirms who we are. We don't get the luxury of coming from a community that affirms who we are. And so being Black, which is its own battle, and also being gay, you try to overcompensate. Oh, I'm a bad bitch, I'm a this, some of that, and it doesn't always look good. But I think if we developed a certain type of compassion to understand where that comes from, we would understand it a little bit better.
So real quick, before you say something, Pierre, all right, you said something that was very profound. Is it because there's like two different worlds, being a Black man with the struggles and then being a gay with the struggles. So what is more, because I see, from what I see, gay Black men seem to get their strength more from the gay community than the Black community. Is that like a rejection from the Black community? That because we go through the same struggles as Black people, but I see that coming together with the gay community is more stronger than Blacks come to the Black community, if you understand what I'm saying.
I think I understand what you're saying. With that, I want to say this explicitly, because I'm from DC. I grew up in the Black church, and so where I come from, you had to know how to fight growing up, and so a part of that battle is us needing the Black community to understand, yes, we are Black gay people, but we're always going to be Black first. I'm Black first. When I walk out this house, people see a Black man. And so if you and I are sitting in the car together and the cops pull us over, we know what danger we both face. And that's before either one of us open our mouths about who we sleep with when we get back to the house. And so I think that because there isn't a deep understanding around sexuality in the Black community, and we see the gay community get so many rights, I want people to understand those are rights usually that Black gay people don't benefit from. Because again, we're Black first, and there is racism in the gay community. I have gone to gay clubs in the Castro and here in Los Angeles. And, you walk in, you can't even get served a drink, or you will hear white gay men use slurs or identify you only by what they think your private parts look like, or, people put glass in your drinks and stuff like that. So we deal with racism first, but we are Black first. Okay. All day. I will identify, yes, I am a gay person, but I identify as Black first all day.
Pierre, let me come to you. I know you wanted to add in on that.
Oh yeah. When Capone said, they like when some of them overdo it. I know straight men, like he was saying, that overdo being tough. I don't eat no hot dogs, man. I don't drink no damn straw, nigga. I ain't gonna do no straw. Like, dude, how rough you gotta be? How tough you trying to be? You're overcompensating for being hardcore and I'm a real man's man. So some of them do it overboard too, straight men. You know what I'm saying? So but he kind of talked about that. So, in all communities, people overdo it. Women sometimes on Instagram, they overdoing it, showing their asshole down there, put the vagina lip popping, overdoing it. That's sexuality. Calm down. So we all do it. Don't just put it on the gay community, overdoes stuff sometimes. Everybody overdoes their community, to me.
And I'll go even further to piggyback, no homo, of what Pierre is saying. So I would even say that if you find a man who is overcompensating too much, a straight man, say, oh, I don't do that gay stuff, this and that, he's probably struggling with his own sexuality.
Oh, well, I eat hot dogs and I use straws, so I'm cool.
Yeah, see, he don't gotta
problem with straws.
overcompensate because he knows who he is.
Okay. Put it in the comments for real.
One more question for you, Samson. And again, I think it's so beneficial for you being here and really being able to open up, because so many times in our community, we see these conversations happen separately. So to see you all on this panel having this discussion is truly beautiful to me. So thank you so much for being here. I just want to ask one more question for you, and then I'm going to take this around the room. I feel like there's been a shift. And this is just from my own perspective of even, we always talk about, or it's always being talked about Black men, Black gay men and their femininity. But on the other end of that, I feel like I've seen more Black gay men, or just gay men in general, kind of embrace that masculinity. You see them working out, you see them, whatever that may look like for them. I want to ask you from your perspective, are you noticing more Black gay men embracing that, embracing their masculinity, where they don't necessarily feel like, oh, okay, because I'm gay, I have to act like this now? They're just, kind of embracing who they are in their masculinity. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we've always embraced our masculinity. I think, you can go to any high school and look at some of the star players on the basketball team. They're probably sleeping with one of the gay boys in the school on the football team. We're in the NBA, we're in the NFL, we're in the barbershop, we're everywhere else that our men are, but they may not talk about it. Like me, unless people are coming to see me on stage or me personally, I don't talk about my sexuality because it's not people's business, and so I think people hyper focus on the feminine gay men though, because they're uncomfortable seeing feminine gay men. And so that's based on perception and stereotype and stigma.
So Danielle, let me bring you in. I want to read and bring up Dr. Umar Johnson, who of course would comment on this as well. And here's what he had to say. He said, "Not you, bro. You're the new school alpha male role model in Hollywood. Why do you do this? Well, we still have Russell Hornsby holding down the Black alphas." So Danielle, I'm curious to know, what do you think is hurting? Do you think, this push of Black men that are feminine, do you think it's hurting our community? And if so, why? If not, why?
Black men that are feminine. Okay, let me just say what's honestly on my mind as I had the conversations going back and forth into this question. It goes back to a conversation that we had a few weeks ago about Nolan Johnson and his comments and how it was something said in there that was true, but at the same time, it was the wrong place where he said it in the wrong time. What we have done throughout the years through breaking down community of Black people, not just in terms of the family structure, but the community structure, is that there have been no present examples for men in terms of what masculinity is. And a lot of times we like Pierre was saying, a man that's over tough, in a lot of places he would be considered masculine. But then in other communities, a man that knows how to take care of the people around him, that would be masculinity. We really don't know what masculinity is. We haven't pinpointed that. We call, like, Russell Simmons, is it Russell Simmons that's married to Sierra? I hope I'm getting the last name right. Russell Wilson. We call him a simp. We call men like him a simp. We call men like Michael B. Jordan simps, because we feel like they're not masculine enough. And then at the same token, we have women that really don't understand what femininity is, because they've always grown up in a household where they had to take on that masculine role. So I think at this juncture, I don't think we understand what is masculinity and what our femininity is in the community. And I watch online and I see people attack each other daily in terms of men being masculine, and a lot of women are saying, "Oh, your masculinity is threatened by my independence and who I am as a woman." And I think it hurts me because we call out each other online instead of having conversations like the one that we're having right now, in terms of how do we balance this thing out? How do we really understand what is going on? And when I listened yesterday to Capone speak, and he was speaking about how Hollywood pushes this agenda, here's what came to my mind, and that's the fact that I think Hollywood just is exploiting what's already in the community, the cancer that's already in the community. And that's the fact that we don't have conversations with each other. We are divided. It's the same thing that Samson said. We are divided. We look at each other through a scope and we call it that scope, and that is what it is. So I think we have to really sit down and have a conversation on what is really masculinity and what is really femininity inside of our community. And that's just my thoughts on that.
Absolutely. There just needs to be a mic that just drops, like just right beside you. Pierre, let me bring you in and get your thoughts. Same question. Do you think Black men being effeminized, truly hurts the Black community? Why or why not?
It's just not going nowhere. So I'm not going to beat this thing over again. If you feel like it, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You're a straight Black man. You're mad. What are you going to do about it? If you ain't gonna do nothing about it, then move to the side, man. Because it's not going anywhere. It's just not going nowhere. I know people hate them, me saying I'm one of the realest dudes. It ain't going nowhere. So you have to understand. What's funny, back in Black media, let's just say from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, they weren't all gay men. There were a lot of straight shows with head of households, with strong men from let's say Family Matters. What was it? What's the Good Times. The Cosby Show, and look at how the Black community still got baby mama drama, men not staying home with their wife. So we showed all that, and it still didn't work out like we wanted it to be. Husband and wife and kids stay together. So many single mothers around, and we had a lot of shows with that on it. So it doesn't really necessarily translate to that happening because you see that on it. People on fathers being in the household, it's going to be that's what's going to happen only. Look, when it comes to the homosexual community, they're here. They're here to stay. They're not going nowhere. So I think we're just shocked by seeing it recently. In the last 5 or 10 years, we see so much, and it's new to a lot of people's eyes, to see it on television or something. We all know a homosexual in either our family or our neighborhood or the church. We've seen them before, but we've kind of pushed them down. And they're saying now, like, kept them quiet, kept them behind closed doors or the closet or whatever. They're out the closet now. And they're saying we're here and we ain't going nowhere. So what are you going to do emotionally inside? You going to let it bother you every time you see a homosexual walking down the street or you see him in a magazine? You going to let it bother you? If you do, then you're crazy. I ain't gonna let them get me off my square. If I see a homosexual man on a magazine or dressed like a gay guy, whatever, it is what it is. I ain't gay. I'm gonna keep it moving. Let him do him, and let me do my young ladies.
Samson, let me bring you in. Same question to you. What do you think? Do you think Black men being effeminized, do you think it's truly hurting the community? Why or why not?
So I do think we do see a lot more effeminization of Black men. That's a fact. We do see a lot more of that. But again, it's not going anywhere. And so I think two things need to happen. I think that there needs to be more robust conversations about what gender looks like in our community. I do think that, especially in our community, we need to define what men look like, whether they're gay or they're straight. We need more strong male leaders in our community. We do need that. Strong men are important. But at the same time, there just needs to be some conversation so that there's more harmony in our community around our understanding of how people show up. And we, as Black people, need to know how to move forward together. No matter how we look, no matter how we present, we are Black people, and we have things in this country that we need to go claim, and we need to do it together.
Absolutely. We're definitely better together. You couldn't have said it any better than that. Last and certainly not least, Capone, same question for you. What are your thoughts? Do you think Black men being effeminized, do you think it's truly hurting our community? Why or why not?
I can't point that is hurting our community. There's a lot of things that's hurting. We're hurting our community. I wouldn't say that just the gay people are hurting our community. No, I wouldn't say that. As he said, the harmony in speaking and getting to know, just like they're not going nowhere, that feeling is not going to go nowhere either. You know, I hate to say this, but every day is something different. It's something new. The sensitivity of even being a comedian, speaking, you know, how you feel is being challenged. And I'm a little uncomfortable with seeing a full-grown man go into a woman's bathroom and think that that's okay. I don't agree with that. If they're going to get transgender bathrooms, then get transgender bathrooms. If you want the respect that, I don't think that a man should be in a woman's bathroom and think that that's respectful. He's right. They're not going anywhere. But they, just like we have to make adjustments, they need to make adjustments for us to understand just as well. And I don't think that that's being done right either. You know, it's just like if you say something, you offend them. And, you know, I grew up on the F word. I don't find it offensive, but now it's offensive. So if I got to change, I think that we need to understand what change really is all the way around. Don't just throw it down my throat and expect me to understand it. You know, I grew up and to see two men holding hands and kissing was a little uncomfortable for me. And that's okay for me to be uncomfortable because I didn't grow up to it. But now that it's here, give me an understanding of it. Just don't expect me to understand and accept what you're saying and that's cool with it, because you see now that there's so many things that we do that we're used to that are considered wrong now. You know, you can crack a joke, but you can't say nothing about them. You can't say nothing about Jewish people. But we could talk about black junkies and all of that all day. And I just think that if it's going to be a conversation or it's going to be acceptable, everything needs to be explained a little bit better.
I got one thing to say real quick. One thing is, when I went to New York was the first time I ever seen a unisex bathroom where men and women could use the same bathrooms. So I'm just real quick. Capone, you for that, not for that? You know, unisex bathroom.
No, I'm not for that. No.
Okay, cool. I've seen that before. Cool. The next thing is how you feel, and I'm a comment too, how you feel you're being told, you know, cancel culture, you can't be you. You can't curse. You can't say certain things on stage. You don't like that. It's bothering you, as you know what I'm saying? It bothers me as a comic. Now they're watching everything we do. So who I am, I can't express myself the way I want to. No different than the homosexual community or men who are gay feel the same way. Why can't they express who they are? You know what I'm saying? Without being challenged. You don't like to be challenged from being a comedian, not being able to say what you want to. That bothers you. So that's who I am. I want to say motherfucker. I want to say, you know, gay slur or whatever, or black slur. But they say, no, you can't do that. You don't like that. Same way the gay community or gay men feel the same way. Why can't I be me?
No, I would love for everybody to be them, but I want to at least have an understanding of it. That's what I'm saying. If there's things that I don't understand, I can't understand. Like if I'm in a club or something with my woman and she goes to the bathroom and a grown brother go in the bathroom after just because he wears a wig or a dress, that don't sit right with me.
No, and I get that, but it's unisex bathrooms. So, okay, you just don't go to a club that has unisex bathrooms. I've been to places where
But that's what I'm saying. Why can't there be transgender bathrooms?
I said unisex. Forget transgender. Just man and woman go to the same bathroom. All right.
Hold on, I think Danielle wants to add in. Go ahead, Danielle.
Just want to say, I don't have my mug. Come with the facts. It goes back to Pierre's point. I'm sorry, I'm off the bathroom situation. I'm not getting in that. It goes to Pierre's point when he said that we had, you know, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, all of these shows on TV. And what did we see come out of that? And it goes back to my point of Hollywood exploiting what's already there. Back in when we had A Different World, and also when Beyonce performed at Coachella, the enrollment for HBCUs went up. And that is because people saw when you put something in front of people's faces and they feel like they can touch it, they feel that experience, they want to be a part of it. So in a different world, HBCU's enrollment went up. I mean, same thing with Beyonce, with Coachella. The Cosby Show and all of them also had a great impact. We still talk about Uncle Phil to this day, and that's why we love Will Smith so much, because of that family aspect. Carlton and all of them, we love them for that. The thing is, though, Hollywood recognized that. And what they did was, we had an underlying issue in the Black community, and that is we love drama. So what they did in the early 2000s was they put reality TV in front of our face, and you had shows that showed men dealing with multiple women and not committing with them. And now we have a generation that is afraid of commitment because that's what's put in front of their faces. Now, bringing it home to this point, when we talk about Jonathan, we are literally sitting here, and what the blogs tend to hound on is, what is his sexuality? Let's forget about the fact that this is a Black man in Hollywood that is working, that is in one hell of a movie, Creed, that is directed by another Black man. No, let's hound down on this picture that questions his sexuality. So that's all I have to say on that. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, and again, I think having conversations like this where we have different perspectives, as you mentioned, yeah, I do understand that people took it and ran with it, and there's a big outrage over a photo. But I think, as mentioned, like, we don't get down to the nitty gritty of the conversation. So I think change starts in situations like this, where we can take an outrage and cool, yeah, that's cool. But let's get down to what's the basis, what's really going on in our community. So I appreciate you all for chiming in on this topic and being honest. And really, providing a perspective that I think our audience will get a lot out of. So again, thank you all for chiming in on this topic. Of course, before we head out, I'd like to know what you have going on. So I'm going to start with our special guest, comedian Samson in the house. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
Oh, thank you. Symphony, again, you already know I think you're wonderful. And I didn't get to acknowledge the legends on the line, Pierre and Capone. I didn't get to acknowledge them earlier, but they should be celebrated absolutely, 100% all the time. And Danielle, it's also good to see Danielle. Okay, so I'll go on and on. You can follow me on Instagram at Samson McCormick. That's SAMPSON and McCormick. I'm touring. I'm always touring. And check out my film, Love the One You're With. It's on Amazon Prime. You will love it. I also produced a film called B-Boy Blues, which is streaming now on BET Plus. But if you could pick the two, you should watch Love the One You're With. That's my favorite.
I love it. Congratulations. Congratulations on everything. We definitely look forward to all the success that you'll continue to have. Pierre, I'm coming over to you. I see you with the hat. You wasn't here yesterday, but you're here today, and that's okay. I'm flying. I know. What do you have coming up, and how can people follow you?
You know what? I'm going to put a challenge on Comedy Hype, and I'm going to challenge the people who watch Comedy Hype and comment. We're going to do a piece on a positive Black man or Black situation that happens, that gets a TV show or wins an award. And I want to see how many comments and what's going to happen in the comment section. I want to hear that. If you don't give up a lot of insight or congratulations on that in the comments, you're also the part of the problem, audience members out there. Okay, so since you always talking about this, talking about that, well, let's see. We're gonna put a show on about somebody who wins an award or does something great as a Black man. I want to see what y'all say. I can be caught. I'm here in LA, about to film my podcast. Got some dope guests. This week on my podcast, we got my man Reginald Ballard on there from the Fifth Flow. Great interview, right? Great interview. So thank y'all for supporting it. And thank y'all, like I said, man, I'm walking here in LA. Can't walk down the street without people telling me they love me on Comedy Hype News. Well, love the whole family on Comedy Hype News. But I only hear the part where they say they love me and shit. I only hear my shit. Okay. And shout out to Samson, Danielle, you, and my man Capone, man. Great show again.
Dang, I don't get a shout out. That's crazy. That's crazy how I got left out of that, Pierre. But whatever, I see. Left me out.
I know, it's all about sympathy. It's all about. That's the first thing they say. I love Symphony and that show. Like, damn, and the show. Symphony and y'all. You like Beyonce and y'all and shit, okay? Symphony and y'all.
Anyway, let me kick it over to Danielle, who's out in the Bahamas. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
All right, what I have coming up is comedy hype, and more comedy hype. Every Tuesday I am here, and I want to say a huge shout out to the team. I love you guys so much. And this conversation, it was incredible. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already, because this channel has great content here that provides incredible insight into the community, and it's diverse. So it's not just for, you know, our brothers and sisters in America, but also here in the Caribbean and Africa, worldwide, global, foreign. All right. And then you can follow me on Instagram at DEEA Miller. And then on Facebook at Danielle, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Danielle. That's Danielle, DENIELLE.
Awesome. And last and certainly not least, with the king hat, Mr. Capone. What do you have? The Kang. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
First of all, I want to take this time to thank Samson for joining us. You put a lot of insight, light on things that me personally, I did not understand. And I know that I'm going to probably get the heat on this one, saying that I'm homophobic or whatever the situation. I'm not that. It's just when I don't understand something, I like to ask questions. So thank you, brother, for coming on here. Really, truly appreciate it. And keep up the great things that you're doing with your career. I will be in DC taking over Pierre's area this weekend with my man Joe Clear. Joe Clear, we doing it at the Bowie Theater. That's right, we got 2 shows. So if you don't have your tickets, I think 1 show is already sold out. We going up there. Joe Clear does a great job up there. Also, Alex Thomas will be with me, and my man Skeet Carter. What a powerful show. It's going to be crazy. Pierre, I see your face. I know I told him to put us together, but he said, you flying out.
Right. What's the date? What's the date? You said the date of the show.
Saturday the 25th.
Okay, 25th.
Yeah.
I'll be in the place to be.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, come out, man. You know, we rock all the time when we see each other. And if you can follow me on Instagram, Comedian Capone. I can't wait. I'm gonna actually read the comments this time because I know they're gonna come at me.
And real quick, I do want to say, Capone, thank you for saying that. You know, I want more of us to understand that just because somebody's sexuality is something you don't understand, that does not make you homophobic. Like, you having questions is okay. And I wish more of us would stop being offended by somebody not being comfortable or having a joke, because that's how we grew up as Black people back in the 80s and 90s.
Right.
You know,
thank you, brother.
that is okay. And I thank you for being willing to put that out there.
Appreciate that. Thank you. So y'all can follow me on Instagram, Comedian Capone. Symphony, you know how I get down. If you cannot spell comedian, don't follow me.
I appreciate y'all so much. Again, this is a great conversation. Thank you all for chiming in on this. Samson, thank you so much for joining us on this topic as well. But you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts of Jonathan Majors responding to all of the outrage? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
In them comments, I ain't got my cup. In the comments.
All the love. Big fan of the Comedy Hype News Show? Well, now you can join us live in studio for lunch at Comedy Hype. Click the link down below in our description, or go to our Instagram page and click the link in our bio for your chance to RSVP. I hope to see you here for Comedy Hype News. I'm Symphony Thompson.